Let's go live to Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. She's in the middle of the fire tonight, and we certainly appreciate her making the time. Welcome back. It's always nice to see you.
Ed, it's great to be on. Thank you.
You know, I've always known you to be a principled conservative, but I guess my point is when the left is pushing all this crazy stuff from coast to coast, is there not a case to be made that while I get you can't vote with the president 100% of the time, doesn't the GOP have to stick together a bit here, get tough, and really pass this America First agenda together?
Yes, I absolutely agree. And that's exactly what we've been working to do. And it's often the procedures and the process in the House of Representatives or in the Senate that is preventing the president's agenda from being passed sooner. So there are those of us who work behind the scenes to improve legislation before that vote is taken. And if that vote is, they try to take it too soon, well, we stop it procedurally and go back to the room, back to the drawing board and try to improve that legislation. And I could speak personally for my friend Thomas Massie, who has been in those conversations improving legislation, even in the big, beautiful bill to remove transgender surgeries on children, the mutilization of children. And, you know, ultimately, he did not vote for the final passage of the big, beautiful bill. But that's because elements of children mutilation was added back in there. I voted for it. I don't always vote with Thomas Massie, but I understand that he is a principled constitutionalist, and it would be a sad day for out-of-state billionaires to come and buy his seat from his constituents.
We're going to get to that money in a moment, but I guess as a quick follow, I get your efforts and Massie's efforts to maybe, as you say, make the legislation better. But when the Democrats and the courts and the media are already tying you and the president and Massie and every other conservative in knots, aren't you making it harder to pass the America First agenda?
I don't believe so. This has only been a couple of days where it's been a little tense, and there have been no votes that have been taken. I think it was more concerning when we were trying to have warrantless spying on American citizens within the FISA reauthorization. That bill will be coming up for a vote again, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to vote for it if we do not have warrants to spy on American citizens. This is for foreign intelligence surveillance. And so there are times where we have to stick to our principles and the promises that we have made to our voters and the oath that we swore to the Constitution. You can be for President Trump, for his agenda, for the Constitution, and still have friends like Thomas Massie, like I do, that I support as well.
Okay, let's talk Louisiana. What's the lesson you take from Republican Senator Bill Cassidy losing this primary? Congresswoman Julia Letlow, who I'm sure you know, as well as the State Treasurer John Fleming, go now to a runoff. On Truth Social, the president emphasized he paid for his disloyalty. Are you concerned the president's going to get a candidate now to endorse you in your district and that you may be next, that despite the case you're making, I don't want to interrupt you, I want to hear genuinely what you're saying, so that's why we're listening closely, and the audience will have a chance for you to lay it out. Are you going to be next, though? Is he going to take you out?
No, but I want to come back to that. So let's go to Congresswoman Julia Letlow, who will be the next great senator in Louisiana. I'm very proud of her, and congratulations to Julia. Senator Cassidy was a train wreck, and he was always against the president, as most of our Republican senators are too often of the time, and it's really unfortunate. And so Julia Letlow actually is a real member of Congress who was on the ground with her constituents campaigning. Thomas Massie has an AI candidate without the I. He's not showing up for debates. He is not having big rallies in the district, small little roundtables. Even his commercials are all done with AI, lying about Thomas Massie. And so at least Julia Letlow led a real campaign and really fought for this well-earned and well-deserved victory. And I'm so proud of her. And as far as my race, I'm not one of those politicians who's going to talk about 2028. Any politician who's going to talk to you about the next election shouldn't be there at all. I'm here for this term that I am serving, and of course this is an election year, so we're working at that. But our primaries are certified, the ballots are certified, so there won't be a challenger in my primary. And I want to make very clear that it's not just because I was a little more safe that I'm standing with my friend. I've had plenty of friends who have whispered their support of me behind the scenes and had no action to follow it up. And I would never want to be accused of being a friend like that. My
Okay.
words have actions that follow.
Okay, on the money that's going into Kentucky, it's now the most expensive primary, I think, in history, basically, U.S. House history. Let's put it up on the screen. Pro-Israel groups are really pouring in a lot of money against Thomas Massie. Ed Galron, who you mentioned, I think you referred to him as an AI candidate. I will say I saw him in the flesh. I'm sorry?
Without the eye.
Without the eye. Okay, so he's artificial. He was here in the flesh last week. Now I heard it right. $32 million is poured in the ad spending. What do you think about this pro-Israel money? And you said billionaires. Do you think liberals and others are coming in trying to buy this seat and take out Massie? What's behind what you're saying?
To me, I'm not concerned about who is spending the money. It's the fact that there are just a limited amount. 3 billionaires who are coming in, they're out-of-state billionaires coming into this district with their agenda. It's no different than lobbyists buying our votes in Washington, D.C., and they are trying to buy all of these votes. Now, on the campaign trail, it's very rare for a Republican to say, I will be the member of Congress who goes along to get along. I will be the rubber stamp. And Ed Galron is saying exactly that. He is saying, I will go along to get along. I will not fight for you independently. I will not do what's right. And if I'm asked to not obey the Constitution or lower the debt, then I won't do so. You know, Congressman Massie, he was the only member of Congress to actually force a vote on the first COVID spending. That was over $2 trillion. They wanted to pass that by unanimous consent. And Thomas Massie was the lone member of Congress who forced that vote and said, we must show up and show the voters how we will vote on $2 trillion of their money. He is fiscally responsible. And I'll remind you just quickly, President Trump was upset with him then, but also endorsed him for races after that as well. So the president certainly gets angry at folks at times, even here in Colorado. He endorsed Congressman Jeff Hurd, unendorsed him, and re-endorsed him. And so there is this art of the deal that he likes to play. And again, I support our president, his agenda. I'm not changing the way I vote, and I'm also standing with my friends.
So let's talk about the Epstein files, because this is something that can upset some of the president's supporters. You were outspoken. You got behind Massie and others to force the release of the files. Now, you know your Democrat colleagues, many of them said, we need to release this not to help victims. They wanted to get Trump, right? And now he's largely been vindicated. And these same Democrats are running around saying that basically Trump is hiding it. The DOJ has covered it up, and Pam Bondi is going to testify soon. And we're going to get him. We're going to get him. Are you enabling those Democrats? What do you want to ask Pam? What do you want Pam Bondi to say? Because do you believe the Democrats that the DOJ is hiding something to protect the president? Because some of his supporters think you're enabling them.
No, I don't. And I'm really not too concerned about what Pam Bondi has to say at this time. She is no longer our attorney general. And we are working through the files that we received. I'm proud to have taken that vote. There was a lot of pressure to not take that vote. But once it came to the floor, it was really the pressure of the voters that members of Congress listened to the most. We had every member of the House of Representatives, except for one, vote to pass that. It passed the Senate by unanimous consent and was signed into law by the president almost immediately. And so nothing happens in D.C. without force. And I believed all along that the president would be vindicated, and he is not implicated in these files. And I stand by that. We made campaign promises, and I'm going to keep promises that I made. And that's why I was there to force the release of those files. Also, many of the Democrats who were screaming about the Epstein files and President Trump, they also would not stand to release the slush fund files of members of Congress who silenced their staffers from sexual assault allegations.
Well, you seem, again, that would be an example of being principled. You said, look, we campaigned on releasing the files. You pushed for it. You got it. You went through those files. You've been on the show talking about it. And now when the Democrats lie about the president, you stand up for the president. I appreciate you taking the questions. We look forward to having you soon.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.